Listen to the Vibes, hosted by Coyote Night. Listen in for some positivity and good times. The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes broadcast network. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. I have here Miss Kathy Perry and Miss Rosie O'Sullivan, and they are joining me here today because they're a couple of great women that have an awesome podcast, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves. And well, I'm going to let them fight it out. Who gets to go first?
Want to go first, Kathy?
Well, I do want to say we don't have a podcast. We have like a company, a Facebook group, Instagram called Humor and Healing.
Oh, my apologies. I guess I misread.
Okay.
I misread your bio, so I thought that's what
the
it was.
The podcast is coming in the future. We haven't started that yet.
Maybe that's what I read. See, now another thing for the blooper reel.
That's okay.
Well, anyway, tell us about yourselves, and then tell us about what you do.
Okay, so personally, we are first cousins. Our moms are sisters. They've both passed away, and they both came out from Ireland. So they're from a family of 8, and they immigrated to this country. So we are first generation from
from Ireland.
All of us, the whole family. Not all of the siblings came out here. I think that 3 of them stayed back in Ireland, but 6 of them came out here. 5 of them came out here. I'm sorry.
Well,
but yeah, so
Joe Biden says that if you don't vote, if you're Irish and you don't vote for him, you're not magically delicious.
No.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, but we just, we've dealt with a lot of loss. We had another first cousin who passed away two years ago. And when she was on hospice care in her home, we were there helping her. Like I was going like on the weekends to help because she had 2 young kids. And while she was on hospice care, we just did a lot of laughing. It's like it helped her, it helped us. Just the little things that just made us laugh. It just brought the room more energy in the room, and it was just like it wasn't always gloom and doom. So then after that, Rosie had a couple losses, but the most recent one we had was my mom passed away in March, and she also was on hospice care. And Rosie was there all the time too. So I was there like Monday through Friday, or I was there like 5 days a week. So the 2 of us we would be laughing so much. We just would, find the funniest things out of really bad situations. Like I can give you some examples if you really want. But
hey, go for it. It's your time.
Okay, so like hospice came and they brought like the hospital bed, and my mom had dementia too. So she had Alzheimer's, dementia, and cancer. So she forgot that she couldn't walk very well. So she kept going up and down the steps because she kept wandering up and down, up and down. So we got a baby gate, and we put the baby gate up to keep her downstairs. We had the hospital bed, but it didn't have bed rails on it. So we had to put chairs and tables and like put her in like a crib. But little did we know that all we had to do was ask hospice, and they would have brought us the bed rails. But, us not having been through this before, we just didn't know. And then they handed us the bedpan. You might need this. And I was like, bedpan? What do I do with this?
Hey, Rosie.
Yeah. Like, does it go this way or this way? And how do we get it under there? And the biggest question was, how do we get it out when we're done?
Yes.
So it's just things like that. So the 2 of us just found so much humor in just situations that were not humorous at all. And then the 2 of us were like, there really is humor in healing. And then we just started talking about it, and it evolved into like a company and a group, and we were able to help other people get through different griefs. It doesn't have to be death. It can be any kind of grief.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that, Rosie?
Yeah, so I just want to share, my personal losses. My brother died in the day after Thanksgiving in 2016. He was on his honeymoon in Hawaii, and he drowned. He went scuba diving, and he was trained in scuba diving. He had advanced training, but I don't think he had done it in a long time. So I was thrown into this world of grief I knew nothing about. And then 6 months later, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, and then he died 2 years after my brother died. And but as painful as it was, like Kathy said, there was some funny things that happened. So, for example, when my father was passing away, like he was taking his last breaths at the hospital, it was me and my stepmother, and his false teeth started to fall out. And I was like, what do we do? And so the thing is, though, the good thing is she was a dental assistant, so she knew what to do. She's like, get toothpaste. So she put his teeth back in, and I just looked at her and I said, I think my dad wants us to laugh right now. And we also played music. You had mentioned music, and we played music as he was passing away. And then another thing that happened at my brother's wake, I was hugging so many people that my zipper broke on my dress. And my aunt was like, Rosie, your dress. So I had to like throw a sweater on. But just like, we found humor in as much as it was painful, we found a lot of humor. And honestly, we used a lot of music. Like when Kathy's mother was passing away, she loved Irish music. She had this song that she liked by the Moonshiners. What is it? You want to sing it, Kathy?
Well, the thing is, it wasn't like one of her favorite songs, but
yes.
We kept asking her, like, she kept saying, I've lived longer than anybody in my family. I'm 88 and a half now. She goes, I've lived longer than anybody else. And we would ask her, so when do you think you're going to die? And she would recite the song that says, I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll drink when I'm dry. And if the moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. So that's what she kept saying to us.
I thought you were going to tell me she was like listening to Cypress Hill or something.
No. And she wasn't a drinker and she wasn't a smoker. So I think it was funny that's the lyric she would recite to us when somebody would ask her, how long do you think you're going to live?
Well, you know, I talk about my children, or talk about this with my children, because I don't want anybody feeling sad when I pass away. I mean, you know, do your grief if you need to, but remember, I'm doing things in my life that I want to do, and when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And you know, when you watch the news and somebody dies, then all of a sudden they're like the greatest person that's ever lived. Oh, they were so sweet. Oh, they were so wonderful. Yeah. And I told my daughter, I said, I can't stand that. She goes, don't worry, Dad. I'll tell everybody how much of an a-hole you were. So that's my daughter. That's my daughter.
That's
you know, let me go because I'm prepared. But you know, I was there when my grandfather passed away. He was actually at home when he passed, and he was more my father than my grandfather. And I mean, I never could imagine my life without him being in it. And so when he passed away, I just collapsed on the couch and I was crying. And my grandson, my oldest grandson, he walked in, and I just happened to be wearing my Flash shirt on, and comes up to me, and goes, "Pawpaw, the Flash don't cry." And I lost it then. I just started laughing. I'm like, that humor helped me get through that. So I know what you mean. So I know you got more great stories to tell.
Well,
I did want to say too,
okay.
So like you said about people grieving after somebody passes, I feel like with my mom, I did my grieving when she came down with Alzheimer's and dementia. And when she had the cancer, that whole period, I think was when I did all of my grieving. So when my mom did pass away, I didn't look at it as a loss. I looked at it, okay, she's at peace now. She's at a different level. I think she's still here, but just not in her body. She's just here in a different form of energy. So when she did pass, it was kind of like, it was okay. I was okay with it.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather had dementia as well. And I mean, the stories that he would be telling, you know, there's people burying dead bodies in the backyard, and, you know, all these things were happening, and the neighbor was stealing his electricity, and just all these crazy stories. And as much love as I had for that man, it was very difficult for me to go over there. So I didn't go over there like I should have. I couldn't see him that way.
Yeah, that's tough.
I feel bad because I felt that way, but I didn't want him to remember him that way either.
Hmm.
Selfish, I know.
No, it's hard. It's hard seeing him like that because, at least with my mom, I think this is a little funny. My sister doesn't though. My mom always accused her of stealing the money and taking her stuff. I was always the sweet, innocent one. But yeah, I felt bad for my sister because she was like the scapegoat. She was the one that got blamed for everything.
Before I let you talk, Rosie, that you just reminded me of a story, and I'm sorry to take away from your interview, but my grandmother on my dad's side, she had started getting dementia, and my great aunt, had bought her a new purse, and so she would get her money from her Social Security, and she would put it in one of the purses. But then when she'd go somewhere, she would grab the other purse, and then she'd go in there. Somebody stole my money. Somebody stole my money. And this is probably not politically correct, but she said the retarded kids upstairs, they come in and they steal my money, and they're watching me through the vents. And she came up with crazy stories. She would pile phone books in front of the door, thinking that was going to keep people from coming in. You know, you go over there to watch television, and she'd have the volume turned all the way down. I'm like, can we turn the TV up? Nope. Those are retarded kids up there are going to make fun of what I'm watching on TV, and I can't do it. It's sad.
My mother-in-law was like that too. She would put the table and chairs in front of the door because she swore people were coming in, taking her food and bringing her their food that they didn't like anymore. So we thought it was so dangerous because if there was a fire, nobody would be able to get in. But, so she ended up in a nursing home, but she was a lot like that too.
Well, the funny thing about her piling the phone books in front of the door opened out, so they didn't open in. So you just opened up the door and you could step right over it. Well, I'm sorry, Rosie.
No, this is great. So I just want to say, like, when I was thrown into this world of grief that I knew nothing about, like, I just really noticed, like, the language people were using. So I feel like we want to educate people about grief and like what to say, you know, like, I'm sorry for your loss. Definitely. That's totally acceptable. But then some people would say things and I think grief makes people uncomfortable. And, and myself too, I've said things like, you're strong and they're in a better place. And like, Kathy and I want to educate people. Like, we want to kind of create our own language around grief, because I heard a lot like, oh, you're so strong. And to be honest, I didn't feel strong. And I felt kind of angry when people would say that. I'd be like, well, do I win an Academy Award for being strong? Like, what is, you know? Yeah. But so we're offering courses to our clients. And I like what you talked about, like, when you die, you don't want your daughter to put you on a pedestal. So one of our courses, we help people establish the difference between, you know, enshrinement or bedevilment. So like, oh, you just say for your daughter, for example, oh, my dad, he was the best thing in the world, put you on a pedestal, or like, oh, he was the worst father ever. We help them, we walk them through their grief process, and we show them the good things and the bad things about the relationship. And it's all about communication. And so we're really excited about our new courses that we're going to be offering. And we can work one-on-one with people as well. So
that's actually a pretty awesome thing. We'd like to share that on the website so people can get a hold of you.
Yes.
Because we support things like the National Suicide Hotline and things like that. And I know people go through those things. It's very hard for them to deal with. And you said about my daughter putting me on a pedestal, kind of in a way she wants to, because she says she's going to send me the taxidermy and have me made into a hat rack. So I'm always there. Like, hey, go for it. I don't care.
Oh, I love that. That's funny.
What do I care? I don't need that body anymore anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I want to say one other thing too. We also find that kind of like what you said, your brother died like 20 years ago. It's like some people, when something happens and grief happens to them, they pretty much hold everything inside and they never like let it go. So like they hold these emotions in, and when you have emotions that are trapped, they actually cause like arthritis, they could cause cancer, they can cause different ailments, they can cause pains. Like somebody might have a back pain or a pain in their neck from something that happened years ago, but they're just not letting that energy flow and releasing it. So it's like we're trying to educate people about that too.
You know what? I never realized that because I've had surgery on my neck, and my spine is actually deteriorating, and I have arthritis. It's like taking me over. I can't work anymore, and I never would have put the two together. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So is it like a chemical imbalance, or
It's just like trapped energy. Like there's different people that teach about this. So the emotion code is one thing that I'm certified in. So it's like you find with muscle testing, I can find out what emotion you're holding, what age it happened. And sometimes you can test even further to see if it involved a person or an event that happened. There's also the energy codes with Dr. Sue Morter. She's a physician who teaches on energy, and she has you breathe through it, like feeling it. And then there's another one, Anadea Judith, who I'm learning about now, and she has you like feel the emotion. Like if you were to say something about, like say you were in a car accident and all of a sudden you talked about that car accident and you got that feeling in your chest. She has you like stop, acknowledge that you're feeling it. Like what is it doing? Is it getting tight? Is it getting hard? Does it have a color to it? And just like let your body know that you acknowledge what it's telling you, and then just like slowly like let it go, like breathe through it. And it says every time it happens again, like if you talk about it in a week later, it might not be as bad. But every time you acknowledge it and you try to process these emotions, it gets a little bit easier every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have heard with the emotion code that some people that they'll have a session and then all of a sudden some back pain that they've had for 20 years is like gone. Magically disappeared.
I don't think mine's magically going to disappear, but
no, because you have deterioration. Yeah.
Rosie, I know you've got something to say, dear. Come on.
So, well, I like what Kathy was saying, because a lot of people, because our society doesn't really educate people on grief or death. And my big thing is we only get 3 bereavement days at jobs. Like that's one of the things I want to work on, go to corporations and have them change the rules, because you get 3 days when the person dies. But what happens if you have a grief attack and you're just like bawling at your desk, or like, like months down the line, stuff comes up like around the holidays, birthdays, their anniversary. There's a lot that goes on with grief that our society doesn't, it kind of like pushes to the side. It doesn't accept. But like Kathy was saying, like a lot of us stuff our emotions. So our program, it's like a tea kettle, and it's full. And then it's like after you take our program, it's like you just the cork pops on the tea kettle, and you like let all that out. And so we're doing a lot of like emotional feelings, but also body work as well. Like Kathy's talking about energy work. So we're really excited about our programs, and we feel like we can help a lot of people heal from grief and loss. So. Okay.
And you can tell me if you don't believe in this or not, but do you believe in working like on the chakras?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I have had actually a couple of different psychic mediums, and I don't know if you believe in that or not, but I became a believer. I was a skeptic and became a believer. Both of them had told me that I was having a blockage in my heart chakra, and I had one of those epiphanies in the middle of the night, which is like, you know what? You have a few people that you are still holding a grudge against, and you need to go and get that taken care of, or you're not going to free your soul to do what it needs to do in this life. And so I did, one of them being one of my old bosses. And I straight up told him, you know what? I talked bad about you behind your back, and I held a grudge against you because you had said things about me to the boss that, it got me in some major trouble. And, I said, I had very ill feelings towards you. And I said, but if I'm going to get right, in my life. I need to let these things go, and I'm asking you for your forgiveness. And the moment he said, I don't hold anything against you either. He says, I like you, and I'm sorry that things went to that. It's like my whole aura was
Lifted.
lifted,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And all of a sudden, things started popping like this in my life. And I'm the busiest that I've been since the pandemic has started.
Wow, that's good.
I'm going
Well,
to take over, so y'all talk.
well, wait, going back to what you just said. So when you have a resentment against someone, the way we look at it, it's like you're carrying a backpack, and that resentment towards that boss, you throw a big rock into that backpack, and then you carry it around with you in life, and you don't realize it, that you're carrying all those resentments around. So it's like, we want to help people to release those resentments and anger, and just like let it go. So.
Yeah, forgiveness, especially when you have to forgive yourself, which
Mm-hmm.
you know as well as I do, that's the hardest thing in the world. I could forgive you for shooting me, but I couldn't forgive myself for something I did wrong to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's a cancer
Mm-hmm.
holding on to that. So, what
And
kind of?
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm
Forgiveness
not,
helps you, not the other person. You know what I mean? They say resentments are it's like you're drinking the poison, waiting for the other person to die, but that's not how it works. So when you forgive someone, you're actually helping yourself. So, yeah.
so could you like maybe explain briefly some of the exercises that you would recommend for people to get these things lined up right?
Yeah, sure. So we do like one of the things we do is we do like a relationship graph. So you can pick someone. It could be your old boss. It could be a family member, and you draw a line, and on the top of the line is all the good things that have happened. You know, from the time you met the person, or your first memory of your parent, for example, till the present moment. And you just things will come up. You just give yourself like 45 minutes, an hour, things will come up, memories will come up, and then on the bottom line, it's kind of bad things that have happened. And then so just say, for example, I would be your witness, so you would just tell me everything. I'd give you about half hour or so, and you would tell me everything that happened, good and bad, during that timeline. And to have someone witness that, I can't even tell you, because I've done it myself. It's so freeing and healing, and you just feel like, for me, I felt like I had this big boulder, and I just like threw it into the ocean about a couple of relationships that I had that, you know, were good and bad, you know. So it's just, so that's one of the tools that we use, and it's so helpful to our clients. And like I personally am a visual person, so to actually see it is helpful to me. So yeah, that's one of the tools we use.
Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say someone is very young, 7, 8 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being molested by someone in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've grown up, now that person is no longer around. How do you deal with that?
So so what we do, it's a lot of like letter writing, and it's a lot of it basically, you're letting go of the pain. You're not letting go of what happened, but you're letting go of the pain of that memory, or the pain of that event. So yeah, we can help people like just get through get through really traumatic events that have happened. You know, like you said, you know, your brother committed suicide, or like my brother died drowning, and like there had, you know, sexual molestation, or bad rape, anything like that. It's just like, it's a release for you. You're letting go of the pain. So it's like we write things out. We do a lot of letter writing, a lot of talking, and even just like to have someone listen to you and to listen to your pain. It's so healing. Don't you agree, Kathy?
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
also do emotional freedom techniques. Do you know what
Mm-hmm.
that is?
You know, please elaborate.
Okay, so that is it's tapping on your meridian points. So like you have energy that runs through your body on right side and left side, they both equal sides. So when you have that fight, flight, or freeze response, when something happens and you like tighten up and freeze, well, we teach them to tap on the different energy points while they're talking about whatever emotion that they're feeling. And they'll find after a couple of rounds of like say you were telling me something happened, and as you were telling me, I would just be tapping along, you would be tapping your face, and you would be telling me the story, and you would tell me what emotions you would feel, and I would make a statement like, this anger that I have in my chest, and then you would repeat, this anger that I have in my chest, and then I'll say something else like, oh, this pain that I feel, or whatever, and you would repeat it, and then after so many rounds, it would just, you would find that you're just so calm, and everything would just be a little bit mellow. And that's like kind of like releasing the emotions and just letting everything kind of free up.
So let me elaborate a little bit more on what I was saying earlier. Okay, suppose this person, that molested you, they pass away, and yet you feel like, let's say you feel like you're the one to blame, and you still feel bad that they're gone, and you still had that love. I mean, how do you deal with something like that?
All right, another thing I wanted to add to that, when people go through the tapping process, sometimes they can change the ending. It's like you go through the sequence, and then you can say, instead of like something happened, you could say that like at the end, if it was like that person was arrested, that person was put in jail, like you could make up the ending and just tap through it, and then it's kind of like your body just like accepts that as what really happened, like it'll react as if that really happened. And another thing is, if you don't want to talk about it, like say if it was very traumatic, you could pretend you're going to a movie. Like we have this whole movie thing where you visualize yourself going to the movie to see the event, whatever you name it, like the incident that happened. And you can like gradually say, okay, I'm getting my car keys, I'm going to get in my car. And if that's too much, you stop and you just stay tapping on that. And then as you can progress a little bit more, you get to the parking lot of the cinema. And if that gets too much, you back up and you start all over again. And you start tapping about getting the keys off the table. It's like, it's a very gradual thing, just so that that person can get in and not feel the emotions, but actually work on them, kind of like tap through them. It's amazing that it really does work.
Or you could get people those shock collars, and whenever they do something wrong, you just zap them.
Yeah.
You're going to learn this.
We might think that's humorous, but they might not.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I mean, I've been around so many people that have been through so many things, and as many things as I went through. Because I mean, first my father overdosed. My little brother hung himself, and then a good friend of mine shot himself in the head, and then another good friend of mine purposely electrocuted himself. And
Wow.
this was like one right after another. And then of course you got people that died naturally in your family, and seemed like that was happening one after another, like it's almost never going to stop.
Yeah.
And you wonder, how do you deal with it, that one right after another tragic? I mean, do you think that still works, or?
It absolutely does. It just calms your amygdala. It's just everything just kind of like settles down a little. But I do know that if you have all these traumas all happening at once, and you don't let them process, or you don't process them, it's like Rosie said about the boulders. You just piling up all these boulders, and you just carrying them around with you, rather than trying to release them all.
And so that frees up the rest of the emotions and things in your life, so you can feel, you can actually feel what you should be feeling at that point.
The calm, the peace, the love, not the tension and the anxiety and all those negative emotions.
Just give me one of those little devices on Men in Black,
Yes.
Stare right at this. Boop. You will go.
I wish it was that easy.
Right?
Well, once people go through our course, like whatever relationship it is, it kind of takes the sting out of the pain, if that makes any sense. So once they go through it, it's like when they think of that person, it's like, okay, all you feel more is the love. It's like you forgive them. We have you apologize to them for anything you might have done. This program just brings like an awareness of just your part in it, their part in it, like forgiveness, apologies, and then any statements you want to make, like, oh, just say for my father, like, thank you for driving me to my freshman semi-formal, or thank you for teaching me how to drive. Like it it really breaks down the relationship, this program, and it just helps you see it in a different perspective. It's a different perspective that you see the relationship in. It's like from a distance. And once you go through our program, you just feel different about the relationship. You have a different perspective, and the sting. So when you think of that person, you might not remember all the bad things. You might think of more of the positive things.
Okay. And if you don't do this, this is fine. But what if you have someone who has, say like they were drinking and driving and they've killed somebody else, and they're carrying that grief, which me personally, I think you should carry that grief, but even God gives people a second chance. So would this program be able to help those people as well, or is this just something they're going to get over on their own?
Definitely.
Yep, absolutely. Do you want to go, Kathy?
Like we said in the beginning, grief comes in all different forms. It could be, like you said, if somebody was a drunk driver and killed somebody, they're grieving over that. Even though it was their fault and their mistake, they still are grieving over that.
And there's a lot of guilt around it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Learning to forgive yourself, especially if you've gone and done something that tragic. I just don't think I'd be able to forgive myself. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see that part in action. I believe what you say. Don't get me wrong. That's that part. I would have to say I would have to see it myself.
All right, can I explain something that Dr. Sue Morter talks about? She talks about that everybody comes to this planet. We're all in this body for a reason. Like, we're all at this bus stop before we're born.
Right.
And at the bus stop, they said, okay, I need to go to in this body, and I'm going to learn how to forgive people. That's my job. I have to learn to forgive. So somebody at this bus stop has to drive the car that's going to kill my son or my daughter. And I really need your help. You need to come onto this planet and be the person that I have to forgive. So somebody at that bus stop says, okay, I'll do it. That's how she explains it. She explains in the energy codes that we all have a job to do. We all get here in Earth, in this body, and there's already like a plan. There's lessons we have to learn, and you have to process it. So again, you have to like process the emotions and process everything that happened. So the person who was the drunk driver, came, they did their thing, but then they have to process what they went through. And then when when you go off and you're off to this new energy after you pass away from this lifetime, you've come and you've done your job and you move on to another energy. That's how she explains it. I love it. The bus stop.
That makes sense. We're going to mention this again when we finish, but how does one go about getting into your program?
Okay, we have a private Facebook group, which is a little more intimate and personal, so people can share things and not feel like they're being judged. We also have it is called Humor and Healing, and we have a Facebook group called Humor and Healing, and we are also on Instagram. Okay,
you're under the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you post links after if we send you all the links?
Yes, actually, I was going to suggest that if you would send those links to me when I do the videos for YouTube, and when I send it out on Buzzsprout, I add all those links so people can get right to it. And anytime that you need anything shared on any of our social media, I'm just an email away. Say, can you please post this? Because we believe in helping people as much as we can.
That's how we feel too.
Yeah, anything we can do for folks. So, Dad, do you have like seminars people come to, or is this just like,
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're working
with
on
COVID.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that certification, or is this just like a support group?
Well, you mean we're certified, but people don't get certified going through the program. They just get help.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm a little certifiable myself, so. Ask my children.
You'd be perfect for our program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my children will tell you straight up, I'm the devil. In fact, I'm going to show you something. I got my very own Dundee Award for Father's Day this year.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
A Dundee Award.
What's that
Hey,
mean?
you never watched The Office?
Oh, yes. Yes. I love The Office.
I got a Dundee.
That's awesome.
And my Dundee Award is called You the Devil. Yeah, funny story about that. My kids, when they were little, they would I would say something goofy to them, and they'd go, "Oh God," and then I'd say, "What?" And they go, "You're not God, you're the devil." and and then Waterboy came out, and so everything was the devil. So now I got the You the Devil Award.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm one of these that believes so much in the power of humor. It helps to heal bodies. It helps to heal the mind. It brings people together. And yeah, there's so much truth in it. It is healing. Humor is healing. And it's great that you took something that was tragic and you turned it into something special, and you can help other people. Because a lot of other folks, they'd still be in that grieving process, and they'd be like, I can't go on. And you're like, you know what? I don't think these folks would want me just to not go on. They'd want me to pass on some knowledge. And so where did you get certified?
So I got
go ahead, Rosie.
So I got certified in the grief recovery method, and that was really helpful. But I also have my master's degree in mental health counseling. So I've been healing myself for years, let's just say. But I feel like my brother's death really propelled me into wanting to help myself grieve. And
no, she froze.
She froze
again. Oh no!
And she has such a wonderful expression on her face.
Yeah. So Rosie just got certified in the she recently certified in the grief recovery system. I'm taking the course coming up, but I'm also certified in the emotion code, in EFT. We're both certified in Reiki. Here she comes back again.
Sorry.
Yeah, we both have Reiki certification. So there's a lot of energy certifications, and Rosie has a lot of the educational.
Yeah.
See,
Rosie, we see you twice.
Yeah, you brought your evil twin.
Did I? That's so weird. How do I leave one?
There you go.
Okay.
You did it. And you did it on your own.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's hilarious.
Don't you just love the cable companies and their internet services?
I need a new internet service. Yeah, big time. Sorry about that, guys.
You know,
but you were saying your brother's death propelled
me into wanting to help myself, but also wanting to help others. So now, honestly, I feel passionate about helping people heal, because I've healed myself. Like, there's days I do miss my brother and I think of him all the time, but I just know that he wants me to have a good life, and he wants me to laugh and have fun with people and still live my life to the fullest. So that's why I want to help people get to that point, from the grieving point, into like transform them into like having the life that they want, and they can create new hopes and dreams. You know what I mean? Like, just move forward.
Well, it's almost like people don't stop to think that the people that have passed on they've got the same idea as you, as I want people to move on. Do you think that person wants you to sit around and grieve over them all the time? Shed a tear for me for the funeral, but then after that, go celebrate.
Right.
I mean, Didn't that the Irish tradition is to have those wakes and
the Irish wake? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Have a pint of Guinness.
Yeah, that'll make you forget.
Absolutely.
I would love to maybe get more in touch with my Irish roots. We do have Irish and German, and and then Native American. So, you know, the Irish part of me is like, keep drinking, and the Native American is like, you don't need no more to drink. But
That's funny.
that, you know, that is amazing what y'all do, because people out there need to be reminded that they're special too, and they need to continue to live their lives.
Hmm.
So, any other advice that you would have?
Breathe.
Hmm.
Sign up today.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So, I mean, do y'all charge for this, or is this like, you know, hey, you just come in, we're going to help you?
We do charge for our course, but we're also offering like different hospice centers and care centers. We're doing it for free to their staff, to help the staff who are taking care of hospice patients or people in nursing homes, or just caregivers, pretty much.
Okay.
So we're trying to give back to the community too.
Oh, that's nice. And I suppose that y'all do this by like Zoom or Skype
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate your help, but social distance, okay?
Yeah. We do want to go into companies and businesses and like present live when it's acceptable again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody wants that, we're available for that too when the time comes.
That's right. You know, I will definitely post that. And so how about stand-up comedy? Do y'all do any of that, or you just when the mood hits, you're just goofy?
We have some funny videos, some bloopers.
Yes. So wait, so Kathy used to babysit me and my brother when we were little, and she would imitate Lily Tomlin in the big. Did you ever see that? When I don't know what show it was, but she'd be in the big rocking chair,
Laughing.
like I had
Laughing and Sesame Street.
Yes, yeah. So Kathy's been making me laugh my whole life. She's great. She's very witty.
Can you still do it? Can you still do the Lily Tomlin?
Yeah, I think I can.
I love it.
I have to watch it again to like remember, but she said like the one ringy dingy.
Oh
I think
my
she used to do that. The operator.
The operator, yes. See, the kids have no idea. The television we had was so much better.
Oh, amazing.
So I forgot even what her name was when she was in the big rocking chair, and she was, you know,
Edith.
And got my
Was it Edith?
lollipop.
And a peanut butter sandwich or
Yeah.
something.
I like my peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. I used to love doing that.
Yeah, I'm an old fart.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, the best era I think was growing up in the 70s. So that's my thing.
And 80s, 70s and 80s.
Yeah, the 80s were cool. The 80s were cool. Seemed like I don't remember it, so it must have been really cool. We won't go there.
No.
You were too busy going to concerts.
Yeah.
And the bowling alley and behind the school, and you know, that one convenience store that would sell beer even if you're only 16 years old.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Hopefully my mom won't be watching this. She's
I was innocent. I was the sweet little innocent. That's what I was. I'm gonna stick to that story.
And me too. You know what? My mom's in her 70s and she'd still come kick my butt. So yeah. So do y'all have like any like special events going on or anything? Like, I don't know, some people have kind of almost a drive where they try to bring people on.
We are going to do a 5-day challenge coming up. It's either going to start in the end of August or the beginning of September.
Okay.
So if they join our group or follow us on Facebook, we'll announce that when that's going to start.
Um, have y'all considered maybe doing something for those that are basically shut in right now and they don't really have family and friends that they can converse with? I mean, it's almost like a form of grief when you're stuck there and
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't do anything.
definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be able to help them.
Yeah.
They have to join our group, though.
Yes. Yeah. We
Okay.
teach a lot of like stress relief and like mindfulness techniques as well. And just to kind of help with stress and anxiety. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are going through right now.
Mhm.
And a lot of uncertainty. We're all like, is this COVID going to end? Like, what's next?
Yeah.
What's happening with schools? Moms are stressed out. Moms and dads are stressed out. People can't visit their loved ones at nursing homes. Like everyone's just really,
Yeah.
Yeah,
stressed out.
and then you've got people that are dealing with the fact that they have a loved one that passed away and they couldn't even go to a funeral.
That was my mom. I mean,
Mhm.
so think about this. She had 6 kids with spouses, grandkids, great grandkids, and only 10 people could go. You know, how do you do that?
That's so sad.
It was.
One of my daughter's friends. By the way, I have 3 daughters, so
Mhm.
So do I.
3 daughters, 2 sons. Well, both of my sons are gay, so it's like I have 5 daughters. But and they don't mind me joking around, so that's
Mhm.
all cool. But the youngest daughter, one of her friends, is just got out of the military, and she stayed here for a few days, and her father was found dead while she was staying here, and so she had to leave to go. I think I don't remember where he lived, but anyway, it was a little drive to get there, and and I was like, gosh, is she gonna have support around her? Because I think they're only letting 10 people all together be in one
Yeah.
surrounding.
Mm.
You know, I don't know how do you deal with it, because those people that can't be there, you don't have that opportunity to say goodbye.
Mhm.
Yeah. It is tough. I know a lot of people are doing Zoom funerals, like they're
Mhm.
broadcasting it so people can watch from home. We
You
didn't
know,
do that though. We couldn't even have a mass. We couldn't even get in the church. So we're going to do that at a later date.
wow. So you just have like a wake when y'all can finally get together.
We're not going to do a wake. They actually offered that to us at the funeral home. They're like, yeah, you can have the room and have people come through. But we were kind of like, nah, I don't like the sound of that. So we'll just have a big mass and then the thing after. What do you call it, Rosie?
I
That
know
you have after a
there's a
funeral?
word for it.
It's like
Yeah.
almost like a reception kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like a
Yes.
reception.
Yes.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
So it'll be a nice like party celebration. We'll have, you know, the videos going and all the pictures all around. It'll be nice.
Mhm.
Irish music, food.
Yes.
It'll be
Well,
nice.
well, I told my kids, whatever you do, my Kiss collection cannot be broke up. It has to stay together. I've worked too long through the years to put all that stuff together,
Yeah.
and it cannot be separated.
There you go. Put it in your will.
Yes.
right.
Absolutely.
But the strange thing is though Kiss is one of my favorite bands. I told them, when you play my song, it's got to be Highway to Hell, just to freak people out.
That's a great song. Love that song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can I tell you one other story?
Sure.
So
Go
when we were
for
at
it.
when we were at the funeral home, like planning my mom's services and stuff, one thing my sister noticed that the shoes didn't match. One was like a heel this big and the other one was a heel this big, but they looked like identical shoes. And they were the only black shoes my mom owned. She didn't own like several pairs, and we grabbed one of each. So she's been wearing those shoes for years. But while we were there, we had mentioned to the funeral director that, oh yeah, my mom just kept saying that song, you know, I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. If the moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. So he took that as that was one of my mom's favorite songs. So at the funeral site, there was like 15 of us there because we snuck in a couple extra. He played that, like he brought the speakers and the radio and he played that song. So it was kind of funny. It's kind of like, it's not like the traditional Irish melody that they play at funerals. He played that song, and it was just kind of like, we all just kind of looked at each other, and then we all started singing in.
Hey, that's the kind of funeral I want. Is I want to sing along.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
I'll
we did.
I'll record myself singing a song, and I want everybody, like Andy Kaufman did at his funeral. Now everybody follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah.
I just think that would be a blast. I don't want it to be a sad occasion. I'm moving on to that next level, and everybody has their beliefs,
Yeah.
and I have no fault in what people believe. Some people believe you go to heaven. I think there's like a next level, according to how you live this life is where your next level will be. And I want to go out with the bang. So, play Kiss, play AC/DC, Metallica,
Yeah.
throwing some Beatles or something.
Nice.
I think it would be hilarious. If they play Eleanor Rigby at my funeral. I want it to be a fun affair, Don't cry. I'm living my life the way I want it to live, and if I died tomorrow, I could say that I was happy. I met the woman of my dreams. I mean, I was almost 50 years old when I met her, and ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. And I've got to see my Dallas Cowboys win Super Bowl several times in my lifetime. And sorry, I'm not a New England fan.
That's okay.
I got to see Kiss in concert 3 times, and I got to meet Kiss.
Wow.
That was the one I forgot to tell you. That's the greatest moment of my life was when I got to shake hands with Gene Simmons. So,
Wow.
That's amazing.
And I meet all kinds of wonderful people like y'all. So many great people on the show. All the people that my wife and I have met through the years, and it's been a fun life. I made my mistakes and I did some stupid things, but I'm here now and I'm doing what I want to do. And I think people need to keep that in mind.
We're gonna meet Ellen DeGeneres someday, and we're gonna meet Oprah someday. Just putting it out there.
Are you putting that in the universe?
Yes,
I will meet them.
I am very.
Yes.
I am.
And
Okay.
so it is.
If that's who you want to put out there in the universe, you want to meet Gordon Ramsay. I want to meet you, Gordon Ramsay. And when I meet him, I'm going to say, will you just call me a donkey? One time. Call me a donkey. You donkey.
He is mean.
I love it. That's my man crush.
Romance.
Yeah, it's my bromance. Can't help it. There's just something about that man. He's, because I love to cook too, I guess. So, do you have something else funny you can tell us before we end the show?
Rosie?
Let's see. Oh, Kathy. So we ended up having basically an Irish wake at Kathy's mother's house.
Oh.
And remember the funeral home called you, Kathy?
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is the story. So.
Let me tell the story.
This is the story. Okay. So my mom passed away at like 6 a.m. So she was in the hospital bed in the dining room. I was sleeping on the couch in the living room, and literally I woke up at 6 a.m. knowing that it had happened. But I didn't want to get out of bed yet, so I said the rosary on my phone. It was really fast. Heavenly, fully gracious, like that. So anyway, so after I got up, I called my sister. I went up and got Rosie, and my sister's like, "Is she breathing?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And Rosie's like, "I think she is." And we were like, "Is she?" We're standing over my mom. It was like we didn't know. We've never seen a dead body like that before. I mean, did you, Rosie, with your dad?
Well, yeah, just I saw him take his last breath. Yeah. So
Okay.
I
So
could. Yeah.
I wasn't sure. So I didn't know if my mom was sleeping. So anyway, so we made the plan. I called my brother over. The hospice nurse came and she was wonderful. She's the one that said you should wake her in the house. So she told us, she opened up a window. I guess that's tradition. You open one window, as they say, so the soul can go free. And then she had us get her dressed. So she helped us put her clothes on and put her teeth back in. And we called her sisters to come. So we had her sisters come from the Worcester area, and they came to see her because we knew we couldn't have a wake that they could go to unless they were 2 of the people out of 10, which would have been a little tricky. So anyway, they came over, spent the day. So then we sat around the table, we laughed, we had a few drinks, we told a lot of stories. People were coming in the house and wishing us well. And then, so she died at 6 a.m. So now it's getting to be like, we called the funeral home too. So then we told them, we're not ready, we're gonna wake her here. So I think it was like maybe 8 o'clock.
Yes.
8 o'clock at night, the funeral home called and said, can we come and get the body yet? We're like, no, we're not done yet. We'll call you later. Don't come yet. It's not time. So then we waited like another hour because I was kind of thinking my aunts didn't want to see her being taken out. So I was waiting for them to leave. So then I asked them, are you okay if you're here when they come take the body? And they said, sure, that was fine. So we called them at like 9, I think it was, like 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point we had a few cocktails. So, so I think I said to them, you can come now. We're almost done. And then I said, don't go to the wrong house because you'll scare the people. Don't try to take out our neighbor. and then like when they came, we were like, okay, not yet. We have to wait a couple more minutes. So then we all surrounded my mom's bed. We said a couple prayers. We sang some Irish music. We played Irish music and we all sang. And the guys were just standing there in the hallway, just kind of like waiting. And we were like, come on in, and join us.
Join the party.
Yeah, it was a party. It was like a nice celebration, a nice way for her to, to leave. That's what I felt anyway, because all her family came, not all of them, but the ones that could come, because it was COVID also. So some people were nervous, but was there something else I said, Rosie, to them?
No, I think that was it. Just don't go to the wrong house.
Yeah, don't go to the wrong house. And
Okay.
it was dark, yeah.
So I'm going to put in my will that 2 tickets, airplane tickets, be sent to y'all's house to make sure that you're flown there right away, so you can do that kind of stuff at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say that when I was asked how I wanted to go, I said I want to be, number one, eating shrimp. I want to be watching my Cowboys playing football, and I want to be having sex with my wife, and then I can, I wanted that all at the same time, and then I can go. I mean,
Why not?
Yeah.
What better way to go? I'm doing my 3 favorite things: eating my shrimp,
Yes.
watching my football, and being with my wife. So
Mm-hmm.
she might not be too thrilled about it, but
that would not be that would not be nice.
but no, I want it to be a joyous occasion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you lived your life. He's happy. He can go. So, I mean, it's kind of a gross thing to ask somebody, but if you had to pick, God came down and said, I'm giving you one way that you can die, what way would it be?
In my sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, that's why I wanted to have sex with my wife, because then I go to sleep right at it. So.
No snuggling? You got to snuggle first.
Well, I'll be there to snuggle as long as she wants to.
You have a great sense of humor, Kyle.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
If you grew up in my household, you had to have a sense of humor. My grandfather, that's where I get it from, because why I love that man so much is, he's not only spent time with me, but he did so many special things for me growing up. But he always had this sense of humor. I'm like, that's the man I wanted to be. In 1965, he was working at Exxon, and he was a welder. and they had him up in one of those cherry pickers. And while him and this other fellow were welding, it arced and it split the line that was holding him up. So they fell a long way. And when it did, my grandpa had shattered his spine. And so he spent a lot of time in the hospital, you know, in traction and all that kind of stuff. And he was not supposed to walk, but my grandpa, if you knew him, he's one of these, don't tell him he can't do something because he's going to do it. So he taught himself how to walk. Now, he stumbled when he walked. He couldn't bend his knees, that kind of thing. He had, you know, he walked like a robot almost, but he couldn't always keep his balance. So my grandmother, I'll never forget this, my grandma took him for one of his checkups. And he's walking down the hallway, and of course he's stumbling as he's going down the hall. And this lady stopped my grandma and says, "Ma'am, is he okay? Is he you know, is he going to be okay? Is he drunk?" And my grandpa heard it. And you know, some people would get offended. My grandpa, it took a lot to offend my grandpa. He says, "You know what? I sure wished I was drunk. I'd get over this in the morning." But that kept me going. It's like, that's the way I wanted to be. You know, I have to have a cane right now to be able to go anywhere. I usually don't get to walk very long because pain's too much. But I'll be walking through the store and somebody else stop and say, "Are you okay?" And I'm just hobbling along, you know.
Yeah.
You deal with what life gives you, and
and you should be, if you show gratitude for what you are able to do, it makes it a little bit better. Having like instead of complaining about what you have, be grateful that you are able to walk with the cane.
You know, some people, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you're going through this," you know, and you know what I say? Okay, I got let go of my job. I took early retirement. Um, I'm actually trying to get disability right now, but I'm one of these, I didn't want to just sit around and deteriorate and wither away to nothing. As long as I'm here and I can do something, I'm going to do something. So hence the reason why I started the podcasting network and it keeps me busy, and it's a goal to, you know, get it extremely monetized. So the people that are volunteering and helping us right now, I'll eventually be able to pay them and, you know, keep this going. And it's something that I love to do. I love talking. I love talking to people. And, you know, I usually end up taking up more of the interview than the people I'm interviewing.
You're a great contributor. Look at it that way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But, you know, it gave me not only that, but the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people. You know, and I love giving people a voice. You know, I'm sure y'all get on social media and you see the negativity going on. People that have been friends for, you know, years and years and years are now not talking because somebody didn't like a political post that they put up or whatever. And I think, okay, I have my political beliefs, and I am very strong in my beliefs, but I bring people on even if they don't believe the same way I do, because I think everybody deserves to be heard. So, you know, we need to bring positivity in the world. It's the name, Listen to the Vibes.
Yep.
And we are the Vibes Broadcast Network. So
I love the name.
It's wonderful that you both come on here. You've told a story that a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't know if I can handle it," and you've turned it into something positive. That's what this is about. And I commend you, ladies.
Why, thank you.
Thank you for having us on your show, Kyle.
Yeah.
Believe me, the pleasure is all mine. Seriously. Thank you for putting up with me. So once again, how do people get a hold of you?
We're going to send you the links, but it's Humor in Healing, the private Facebook group, the Facebook page, and on Instagram.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. And I would like to friend you ladies, if that's okay, so I can tag you in the posts and all that kind
Sure.
of stuff.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, we'll exchange. How's that? We'll exchange
Perfect.
emails. And yeah, if y'all could send me that stuff either tonight or maybe early in the morning, so
I'll send it right now if I can find my phone. I'll send it before we even hang up.
You know what? You're awesome. I don't care what Rosie says about you. You're okay. And by the
He
way,
says only good things.
I want to say, Rosie, you have the most beautiful hair.
Oh, it's funny. I just got it done yesterday. I was a
Did you?
blonde and now I'm a redhead. So thank you. I appreciate that.
That's
See?
awesome.
Redheads. My wife, she says, I will be a redhead for you. I'm like, oh, thank you,
Oh.
dear. I've never actually ended up with the redhead. All of mine have been like brunette.
Mhm.
It all comes in a box anyway.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, you know, I was coloring my hair black, and I finally said, you know what, the salt and pepper, I don't care anymore. It turns gray, it turns gray.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just love me for who I am.
Okay, I'm sending it right now. You'll have my email.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything else y'all like to mention before we close the show?
Thank you for having us. We enjoyed being here.
So
And we really do hope that we are able to help more people than we ever imagined we could.
Hmm.
And then some.
Also, you know, you're in psychology? Is that what you said?
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so you deal with people with depression and like PTSD and things like that.
Yes.
You and I are about to become best friends.
Okay, great.
And EFT helps with that too.
We're actually a
That's wonderful.
package deal, Kyle, just so
Yeah.
you know. So Kathy's going to be part of it.
No, but seriously,
sounds
do your
kinky to
research.
me.
But if you look it up on like EFT Universe or the Tapping Solution, they talk a lot about how they work with people with
PTSD.
Yeah, that PTSD. But it does help.
But we would love to help you, Kyle, if you
Yeah.
want. We're here for you.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. You know, I'd been on medications for years. I was actually diagnosed with depression. I guess I was about 15.
Mm-hmm.
I actually tried committing suicide several times, and luckily I was not successful. I came pretty close a couple of times, barely came back. And I was determined because I didn't even tell nobody. I didn't leave no notes or nothing. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, someone just happened to come along and find me, and I have PTSD, and I wasn't diagnosed with that until I want to say about my early mid 40s. I ended up on a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
My children found me curled up in a closet, and I just couldn't stop crying, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And I had a lot of things happen growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and severely bullied in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and tired of being lonely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife left me and ran off with a younger man. In fact, he was barely older than my oldest daughter. So yeah.
Wow.
But I got on medications, and they helped. They really did. But then I got into meditating, and I learned to, when I knew I was walking into a situation where, you know, those things could be triggered, you know, the anxiety and the PTSD, I would mentally prepare myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife would be there, and she's like, focus on me, focus on me. I made it through a New York subway. If that tells you anything, I made it through a New York subway.
I haven't been there yet. I have not been in New York City. So
Yeah.
you did better than me.
Packed like lemmings in shiny metal boxes. Let's put it that way. But I have weaned myself off the medication. I don't know if that was a smart thing to do, but I've been off of it for months and months and months, and I don't know. I'm handling it better than I ever have. So those mental exercises have really helped. But I still have those moments when somebody will forget and they'll come up behind me, sneak up behind me, and scare me, and I'm in a whole nother world when that happens. So any help I can get, that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry, but thank you once again, ladies. I've really enjoyed this talk.
I've enjoyed it too.
Me too.
It's been a help. It's been a help. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, as always, we thank the people that listen and watch us on YouTube. And please check these ladies out. We will be posting the links so you can get a hold of them. If you're out there and you are grieving, you're going through anything in this world that you can't handle emotionally by yourself. If you can't talk to these ladies, find someone to talk to. There are organizations out there that will help you. There's the suicide prevention hotline. We post those numbers on our website, and find someone. Don't let it eat you up inside, and for God's sakes, don't let it get you to the point where you want to end your life. So, and a shout out to Paranormal Bully Busters at stompoutbullying.org. They have a 24-hour hotline. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the number, but you can look them up on the internet and you get that number if you want to talk to someone directly. And anybody that would like to purchase things from their website, all those proceeds go to keeping that hotline open 24 hours a day and all the other resources that they use to reach out to others. Ladies, I can't say enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network and on Instagram at The Vibes Broadcast.